Yes, regenerative. So the idea of regenerative agriculture, there's many terms, right? Organic agriculture, sustainable agriculture, natural agriculture, no chemicals agriculture, and then it's confusing. But the one I want to focus on is how to make poor soils healthy again, or how to make healthy soils healthier. Because the healthier your soil is, the better nutrients are going into your plant, the more nutritious your food is, the more healthy you're going to be. So that's what I really, maybe my lifetime study has been on this. There are several different methods you can use to improve soil. One of them is to not till the ground. How many of you have a tractor? A tractor. No, you don't have a tractor. So if you till the ground, it's like, right? It's so much work. What if I told you tilling the ground isn't good for the ground? So we can reimagine farming where we're not tilling the ground. The ground actually can become healthier. This is kind of confusing, like, well, then all of these plants are here. What are we going to do with all the weeds, right? But I will teach you more about no-till farming methods and how to not till the ground or till it just a little bit on the surface so you're not destroying the soil structure. Organic mulches. Do you know the word mulch? No. Okay. So here's your soil, right? And then maybe you made your soil into a hill for growing a vegetable. But if you just pull the weeds and the soil is plain, then again plants grow up, right? And then you have to pull the weeds again. And you pull the weeds again. And it rains, and the rain falls down, and sometimes the soil, it like runs down, right? And then you have to make your soil up again, right? But if you use a mulch, this is, for example, you have a lot of weeds here. You cut your weeds off, you lay them on the surface of the soil. This protects the soil. If you do this, fewer weeds come up because the soil is covered, and when the rain comes really hard, it doesn't wash away the soil. This method, I use it all the time. It's a really good method. Cover crops. A cover crop is, let's say you are growing vegetables in the garden for part of the year, but part of the year isn't suitable for growing vegetables. For example, in Korea, the winter is cold, so we can't grow vegetables in the winter. But what you can do is you can plant wheat in the fall, and then it grows very slowly in the winter, but the soil is covered. If you plant it in the early fall, the soil will be covered in the winter. Then in the spring, the wheat comes up. You can harvest the wheat, or with barley or lower quality crop, you just cut it and you cover the soil with the dead plant material. This prevents the weeds from coming up during the season when you're not growing something in the field. This is the meaning of the word cover crop. I will show examples of that. Holistic grazing. This is using animals to graze so that your soil becomes improved instead of just all of the plants disappearing. I will explain about that in this lecture and then very in depth in the next lecture if we have time. Growing soil microorganisms. This is a method which was invented in Korea. It's called Korean natural farming. So growing soil microorganisms, especially if you have a soil which is very spent, have you ever noticed there's like really soft, puffy soil and you smell it and it smells really good? And then there's some soil that's like dry and cracked and kind of hard, and if you smell it, there's no smell? Okay, the smell and the puffiness comes from the small microorganisms, bacteria and other things living in the soil. So if you take forest soil, you can actually take that soil and you can grow a lot of more microorganisms, and then you can put it on your cropland, and the cropland will again become puffy and fragrant. So that's another method. And then making fertilizer, I'm sure all of you, most of you have some experience with taking the animal manure and mixing it with other stuff. We'll talk about that. And then also we'll talk about biochar. How many of you have experience in either seeing charcoal being made or making charcoal? Charcoal. Some people. Yeah, charcoal. You use charcoal for cooking? Right. I will show some methods for making charcoal which is more efficient, and also you can use this for adding to the soil to make the soil fertility much higher. So I'll show you some methods for that next.